subscribe to my channel for like many months, I think. I'll be super interested to see if the person who I think is Spinboy keeps subscribing or not after like our latest interaction. Which, I mean, it was just so frustrating, dude. Like, I just had to say to him, like, hey, like, you just seem, you know, I've talked about it before, but just to be, like, very, very clear, it's like, hey, dude, like, you just seem to be inventing, like, you only talk to me because I'm a loser and you're trying to help me out. And I don't know why, but, like, I did everything you said. I did the coding, I did this, I did that. And now you are, like, not hanging out, not really asking what's going on, not paying attention. You're disrespecting me in all the ways that you used to, as well as pretending that you are still doing all that. So you can portray to everyone like you care and you're my friend. But you're not. You're really not there. You're not asking me questions. You're not listening. And you're just like, go get a job, go get a job. Which is like great advice for anyone, right? But that's not a conversation I want to have publicly. That's not a conversation that applies to my situation. You don't know if I'm working or not. And you don't know, like, if I'm not working, why. And you're not asking. All you want to do is publicly yell at me, being like, hey, get a job, get a job. It's super fucking gay. Meanwhile, he lies to people saying that he isn't just, like, constantly sending me money, because that would undo, like, his whole premise of, like being, like, a hard-nosed, like, motherfucker, blah, 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 blah. So clearly, it's about being cool. And then where's he being cool? And in a way, with a whole bunch of people who are like lying and making up any excuse to fucking shit on me. And why is that like vindictive? Because like he's being lied to too. Well, he was there for the events that they're lying about. So he knows 100% that that shit is fake. He's either actively baiting, trolling, being a total cunt to try to make himself look like a good guy who's like a cool friend and blah, 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 blah. Because there'd be no other motivation. It's not, like, it can't really be that funny to him. Like, what are you doing? You're shitting on someone who's already a loser by making them look more like a loser? Or you're trying to make them mentally ill? You're trying to actually gaslight them? Because, like, that would be the most effective method. He even said to me, oh, you can't strong-arm me into this or that. I'm too smart for this. And it's like, Spinboy, you're either, like, actively malicious, or you're just being actively shit on by Rick and the Thunderdome, who are substandard IQ people. So, which one is it? You're either not a good person, not my friend, and like just a loser who's like doing this to put other people down, which we all know, even retarded children know, that's just an objectively bad thing to do, right? Or you literally don't realize, and I think a lot of it is the second one. He's not like he's not competent enough to like fucking be aware of multiple times I have explained to him like the way people are or like what is going on, and he will be like, what? Like he would hate to hear about it. Like he loves to call people like mouth breathers or this or that, but there's been a lot of occasions where I've like had to explain shit to Spinboy and he'll be like, "Buh." Or even like concepts where he will just like genuinely be confused. He'll generally be not be like, he won't like be like, yeah, but it's like this, boom, 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 and then he's wrong. He'll be like, what? So like it's like this or that? Like I see him struggling to figure it out, which is great. You should struggle to figure it out. But then to wax on to me later on, like, I'm too smart for this, when it's like, motherfucker, you're fucking lucky, cunt. And like the slightest bit of pressure would fucking break you, and you don't appreciate it, pussy. That's going on YouTube. I know he watches that shit. It's sad. Like I know that like he will also spitefully never watch this shit again. Like after hearing stuff like that. If you do watch it, Spinboy, like don't take it personally. Don't take anything personally. If I was in there, if all these critiques literally had the badoom sound effect, if they were literally bullets flying into you, this is my problem, not yours. Now, in saying that, you seem to have made it your problem and that's the whole point. Okay? I appreciate you being on board with my problems, but you're not anymore. I was never an alcoholic. I didn't he even leaked the other day that, and like people will read this and be like, oh, Spinboy cares, and Spinboy's his friend, and Spinboy's telling people that he became an alcoholic around the time that Rhea happened. Spinboy knows full well that I was drinking before it happened. Spinboy went on to then lie and be like, me and Dung were in calls telling you to pour it out. For one thing, Dung and Spinboy aren't like my friends. I never like hung out with them at all really this year. At all. So as much as I would have liked to call them friends and call them friends in the past, and as much as I loved them and loved their company, maybe we just call them mates, right? Maybe we just call them crisp supporters. Maybe we just call them empathetic good people. But not anymore, right? Now they're not around. So that's another weird thing to like try and leverage. Now, when these people aren't around and they just show up and they're like, you're drunk, you pour out your drinks because you've got a problem. And I'm like, no, I'm not really going to. And they're like, it's because of Rhea. And I'm like, no, I was drinking before Rhea got here. And I'm just saying to them, like, yeah, I'll just, yeah, don't worry, guys, like, I'll stop drinking soon and it'll be fine. And I did. Spinboy still seems to think that I'm still drinking all the time. And then he went on to justify that by saying, you spent all your savings on drinking. And it's just like, no, I didn't. And he's like, how much money have you spent on over drinks for the last 2 months? None. I haven't been drinking for like 2 months. When I was drinking, I maybe spent like $150, $200 on wine. That was it. And the whole thing with like them being like, pour your drinks out is true. But this was not Spinboy, this was Dung Devil saying, hey, if you have gone and spent hundreds of dollars on alcohol, just go give it to someone else or pour it out. And I would be like, well, no, I've just bought a bottle of wine for tonight. Right? So over the course of 2 weeks, I drank maybe 20 bottles of wine. Probably more actually, because I'm a fucking demon on it. Now, it's really lame that I have to have this conversation in real life. I'm not advocating for drinking wine. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm totally fine to talk to my friends about it. But then he just wants to leak this publicly and call me an alcoholic, which I'm definitely not. I'm allowed to drink. I'm allowed to have my own life experiences. I'm allowed to do whatever I want. It's not Spinboy's problem to then say that's why his advice actually didn't have any meaning or follow-up, and to justify him just being like an insane, abusive piece of shit, right? And that is super disappointing, because I don't want to call him that, and I didn't want to call him that so much, that when he was actively inventing this fantasy and screaming it at me so that he could leak it, you know, the whole game plan is like, I have to say this to Crisp and try to beat him down so he doesn't defend himself enough, so that I can make it look real when I leak it to everyone, right? So he's just putting more shit on my plate and trying to make sure that I can't deal with it, which is bullshit, dude. Like, what fucking loser, pathetic, no-life behavior. You know? There are DMs from me being like, hey, like, you're like putting a lot of pressure on me, but like, look, like, here's like where I went today, and like, here's like what's been going on in my real life. And he's like, yeah, don't send it to me, I don't care. And I was like, okay. So like, you actually just love it being as bad as possible, right? Like, you have just like fully changed up as a person, dishonestly. Even in this moment, you're like defending that that's not the way you are, but you are that way. I mean, it's all pointing in one direction, right? And I hate to say it, because like, then I start to feel maybe more like him, like, you know, like, oh, it's all pointing in one direction, but I'm not ignoring like the reality of what's going on. I am listening, I'm paying attention. I'm trying really, really hard. I don't really want to have to do it. Whereas he has been trying to add me as a friend lately. He's been trying to call me up, and it's like, bro, I broke up with you. You know, I said to you, like, hey, I'm desperately just trying to get you to hear what I say, but otherwise I'm just saying this is super disappointing and like, goodbye, you know? And he tried to do similar things to what like the Thunderdome did, where he started trying to offer me, and it's very much like Rhea. Rhea would get the wrong idea about like what I wanted. She would actively be like, oh, like, She would just be like, you're jealous that like some guy at the airport patted me down, or you're just jealous about this guy or that guy. And it's like, I've never been jealous of you and other men. You know, I'm not jealous that you had another boyfriend the entire time that me and you were together. It's just disheartening to find out that it meant so little to you. You know, that like no one really loved me, no one really cared. Kind of sucks. I'm not jealous that you apparently love other people. I can't see love. You know, it's not really like a tangible thing. It's just not really affecting me. I'm not thinking about it too hard. I'm not like, it's not like possessing my brain. The thing that is possessing my brain is like, you know, like a childhood fear of like abandonment that is like deeply enrooted, and you know, kind of sucks that you fully took advantage of that, which was there before you arrived, and I've dealt with that from other people before, so you're not unique in that sense, and you're not the reason I'm upset in that sense. And then I say this to like Spinboy, like, this is my problem. My problem isn't that I'm spending $100 on wine, and he's like, no, that is a problem. You're an alcoholic. And you're an alcoholic because of her. And it's like, bro, I haven't seen you in months. Like, fuck off, dude. Like, please stop publicly saying this shit. You can even see me saying to him, like, hey, I am done with my coding course. And his response to that was like, no, you could do the coding course harder. You could do it more. And it's like, bro, I'm done with the coding course. What next? You have been saying for months that you were like, I have a follow-up, I have an opportunity, I have an immediate reward for this. And I was like, I don't see it, but like, I trust you. And I feel super gay having to point it out, because it's like I'm asking for a handout, but it's not a handout. It was hundreds of hours of work that I fucking did. And now this takes me all the way back to Dung Devil and Spinboy being super fucking gay, with like the pour out the wine and the this and the that. When these dudes aren't around for months, despite me saying, like, hey, it would be really good to catch up and just have a normal time with you guys, I'm inundated with people trying to dox me, attack me. Rhea is constantly reaching out to me when all I need is, like, friendship and attention, and this person who's really bad for me is the only person offering it, okay? You guys, I'm clearly telling you that, and I just need time with, like, regular people, as any human does. I just need time with friends. I just need time with regular people. And I've been going to bars, I've been going to parks, I've been going out to social events in my real life, and it's just not really hitting that, you know, like, meeting all these strangers just isn't the play. Right now, I just need my friends who I know. And they didn't show up. And they came in and they wanted to critique my life even more, just the same as everyone else has been doing. And then they wanted to pretend like that was really hard work, and I'm sure it was. I don't know if it was. I don't know if it wasn't. But it's their fucking choice to get in there and, like, you know, deal with all of these fucking random haters, which I'm just asking to get away from. I'm super sorry that being around me brought a whole lot of, like, parasocial retards, but that sounds like you having a problem with the internet, right? Which maybe I have that problem too. But, like, don't fucking come tell me about it. Because I'm not asking, and I'm not critiquing. But yeah, just to summarize, like, I don't feel great about that today. I'm sure I'll have other moments of, like, good things, but that's probably something that's going to bother me for, like, quite a while.